Alright folks, welcome back. While I do still have Disa's quest to do, I've honestly actually decided that I am going to be going for quite a few more Seeker's tokens and golden beetles. I kind of really just want to clean up as much of Vermund as I can, since we are coming to a close with it here pretty soon when it comes to main story quests. And truthfully, there aren't too many side quests left either, so the more that I can sweep up and knock out, the better. So today, that is going to end up being what we attempt to accomplish, and it's probably going to end up being a bit of a longer recording again, and I do have to apologize, you'll have to deal with me rambling just a little bit, but hey. We have maester skills on myself and my pawn now. Both of us are as sorcerers, and honestly, it's definitely going to be pretty damn interesting to see what exactly happens if my pawn will decide to link with me and make these spells cast faster or not. But I truly do love these spells. You may not be able to quick cast them, and honestly, rightfully so. But my goodness, do they do a freaking boatload of damage. So, I do recall that I went up here, and one of the pawns I had at the time, unfortunately decided to grab the frickin' golden beetle that was there. And, I never did choose to explore the rest of the area, so that is actually what we're going to do today. The entire area between Melv and Vermund has quite a few tokens and beetles, and I would like to grab as many as possible. As I said, it just makes life a little easier to not have to worry about them whatsoever. And with the new sorcerer skills we have acquired, a lot of the combat is going to be a little too dang on easy, but hey, we're here to enjoy it, have a little bit of fun, you know? I'm not too overly worried about it. We're at that point of the game where, unfortunately, everything starts to get weaker and you really just want to focus on fashion. Now, I'm trying to remember. I can't remember if it was on the bridge. I know there was a golden beetle across the way earlier, but I believe that there is a Seeker's token around here, and it's hard to remember every single one, so forgive me if I goof up a little. Well, let's start with our first one of the day here. It'll be located right here on your map.
We ought to take a closer look.
And then we will continue on, discovering a couple campsites along the way, rift stones. Maybe if I'm feeling frisky, I'll do a cave or two. Or get smacked in the face with a rock unintentionally. It's the nature of it, though. But yeah, I think things have been good. I do have to slightly apologize for some of the audio in a previous video or two. I accidentally had my fader set a little higher than intended, so it made my audio kind of unbearably loud. I'm not going to deny that. And I am doing my darndest to make sure that does not happen again. But I think we're at a point where the process of this has become a lot easier for me than it initially was. Truth be told, when I started doing this, I was a little bit nervous and didn't know how I was going to approach it. I haven't done this in a while, and the fact that anyone wants to sit and watch and listen to me ramble, I honestly appreciate it. I appreciate you all. We gotta...
You've my thanks. Here you are.
We've gotta enjoy life while we can. And sometimes sharing the things we enjoy, such as video games or stories, that's really what it's all about. And I'm truly grateful for anyone that's decided to tune in for this silly little journey of mine. And truly grateful for the people who have definitely helped remind me that it's not as scary as it seems. Just do it and have fun with it, you know? So, thank you all. I definitely owe a lot of people for the support they've given me over the years and for their encouragement to kind of face my own fears. But I digress. I think when it comes to this game, I have complained more than enough at this point. It has definitely changed a lot of things from the original game. And in my opinion, it's improved on quite a few things too. Now, yes, it is a bit of a bummer that every vocation can only use 4 skills. And it's a bit of a bummer that weapon types were split, but Thief and Archer are still incredibly strong. Sorcerer, even if it does feel neutered compared to what it was in the original Dragon's Dogma, is still so frickin' fun. I mean, you still get your giant tornado, you still get meteoring, and you still definitely get a bit of a power fantasy, especially as you get higher magic. And Mage is actually fun to play this time, weirdly enough. If only because the skills definitely feel a bit more offensively focused than those of Sorcerer, for some odd reason. I think the only vocation is that I am not too fond of is the only one I was looking forward to. And anyway, in the middle of my ranting and rambling, we have ourselves another golden beetle here. So let's nab that. And wonder why in the heck my frame rate has tanked. What in the hell? Anyway.
Let us defer to the Arisen's judgment.
But I think every vocation does feel fun, and Trickster, don't get me wrong, still incredibly fun in its own way, but the fact that you're not doing damage and you're essentially buffing your pawns, and there's such a small window where that feels incredibly good, is probably the biggest downside of it for me. You're a supportive role that distracts enemies, and you are able to give your pawns a massive buff and stagger enemies or scare them away with the Maester skill. And it just, I don't know, I feel like it goes back to the fact that there are some enemies that are definitely incredibly weak and not strong enough. And we needed something more for some vocations to feel good. And I am realizing this is the first Drake I have fought, and it's not going so well so far. This one will probably be able to run away from me. But let's see. If I can get to my pawn and cast this spell. Come on. I don't have any healing items, huh? This is dangerous. Oh, there it is. Well, I forgot how scary drakes are when you first play the game. My goodness. Look at me talking about not being difficult and then face tanking an enemy that I know can defeat me. I love keeping stuff like that in. Okay. Let's do this. Blair's probably going to be my best skill here. Let's see if we can slow it down a little bit with ice. And then get a flare off on him. Oh no. No thank you, sir. Oh boy. Alright, pawn cast with me. Let's speed it up. Okay. Nice. Let's try and get this guy back up. Oh, you freaking menace. Oof. There goes another pawn. Okay. Oh, that's all of my pawns. And me. Come on, 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 come on. Gotta play around it. I really wish I could quick spell this. And I also wish he was not looking at me. I have no idea what's going on if he's running away. Okay. Yeah, looks like definitely don't have the damage to take care of him yet. He decided to leave, and rightfully so. I'm just a little bit of a pest to him at this point. Some of the drakes, if I'm remembering things correctly, do have a level tied to them, and I think that one was tied to level 50, so unfortunately I didn't quite have the oomph yet to take care of it, but don't worry, I will definitely be back to deal with him. Now that he is not there, however, I do know that there is a Seeker's token around here we can nab, so let's make our way over there. And I believe there's actually one in this area that I have missed as well, so just gotta pay attention for the slime that I know spawns and take care of these stupid saurians. I don't want to mess with y'all. Leave me alone. And any good items off you? No. No tail. Was it at the statue or the rift stone is my question. Looks like rift stone is the answer. So, let's nab ourselves another Seeker's token here.
We ought to take a closer look.
Now here's a surprise.
And then
Collection grows.
Interesting.
I believe I have to cross the river to campsite over there with those bandits. And there should be another Seeker's token over there that I had previously neglected. So, just gotta mess them up a little bit, enjoy ourselves, and send a few giant rocks their way, you know? I'm sure they'll be fine. That only hit one of them anyway. Honestly, there's just some sense of satisfaction from casting the larger spells and watching enemies go flying, whether it's through a giant meteor hitting them in the face or a tornado picking them up and sending them into orbit. But I know when the game was getting previewed, everyone was a bit iffy about the ragdolls. They have honestly been a joy to experience, both through playing warrior and sorcerer. You just send enemies all over the frickin' place, and I just love it, man. And getting staggered kind of sucks, but you know, it does lead to some funny moments. I've had some where enemies staggered me. I smacked my face into a wall, tried to get up, got smacked again, smacked my face into the opposite wall, and I kind of just sat there like, come on, man. But I couldn't help but laugh at it. Just because it was so ridiculous. And when you combine the great combat of this game with the ridiculous things they've added, it brings me so much joy. You know? And that's what gaming honestly should be about. It shouldn't be about caring how beautiful a game looks. It shouldn't be about, you know, frickin' having the best story written. Which, I mean, come on, man. There are so many good books out there that have great stories, but are they a slog to get through? And at the end of the day, at least for me, it's all about the entertainment and the fact that I can explore this world, run into some goofy things, and... oh, hello. I was right. So, we have ourselves a Seeker's token at this campsite on top of a rock, but that you can encounter some very goofy things with the mechanics of the game, and just see some beauty in this world, as well as just the pure bliss of it. Don't have to worry about the story. Story at the end of the day, at least for both Dragon's Dogma games I've played, I haven't played through online enough to have a concrete opinion of it. They're very open to interpretation, especially this one. I can say with the original game, I definitely argued that the cycle was never... I have too much respect for people who may not have played it yet to say what I want to say. So I will probably reserve that opinion on the first game until a little later. Maybe when we get to the post game. Or the actual true ending. But that one was very hotly debated for such a long time. And so many people said that the opinion I harbored was either incorrect or much different and interesting one that someone, well, not that someone, but that a lot of people hadn't necessarily considered. And because of this game, it definitely raises more questions for me than anything.
Let us try for the same result. with
There
our
are
next
more
attempt.
questions that I consistently think about when it comes to this game. But listen to me freaking rambling like a lunatic. I think that between all the lore notes that are in the game, item descriptions, and what is actually presented, it's enough to make you take a moment to step back and try to piece things together yourself, you know? I mean, we do have Chainsaw McFacepunch, I believe his name is, that tries his best to explain lore, and does a great job on, I think he's on Twitter. I don't remember what platforms he's on, but it just shows there's a lot more lore and story to this world than first appears. It very much reminds me of the Soulsborne genre, where with Demon Souls, you had some story presented to you, and then you had to figure out the rest of the world and item descriptions. And then Dark Souls took that concept and absolutely ran away with it. And now we have freaking video essays on it, or people that speculate on the lore that Vati talks with, and you end up coming up with some very interesting things and implications. And to me, Dragon's Dogma is very, very similar to that. It just doesn't necessarily have the following, or the dedication, I suppose. And it's a shame, because there's definitely plenty of interesting lore there, and that also comes with a double-edged sword that not all of it was explored by the devs, and not all of it has a concrete answer or conclusion. A lot of it is truly up to interpretation, and oddly enough for me, I find that absolutely fascinating, that I could have my own opinion on how this story goes, and another friend I have could have a completely different one, and they could both be valid. That's what I find the most interesting, that you can have two different ideas or concepts, and they may have similar constructs to them, but they're both valid, because that's how you, the player, interpret it.
We cannot expect gleaming treasures round
And that, to me, is just
Profitable endeavor.
so dumbfounding. I've had discussions with people, especially regarding the first game, where they brought points I hadn't considered, and I'd brought points they hadn't considered, and it just made me respect it that much more, because if I can think that, and they can think that, then what is the true story but one that we craft for ourselves with the information we are provided, and filling in the holes? And I know some people really don't like that. And I understand it, don't get me wrong. But not everything has to be a cinematic masterpiece. Anyway, down in the basement here, we have ourselves another Seeker's Token. But yeah, I don't think everything has to be A-tier writing. I think that as long as you have a story that people can understand and that they can interpret in their own ways, that's more than enough. At the end of the day, I'm not playing Dragon's Dogma for
Tis a
its
bold
story.
strategy, specializing so
I'm
far
playing
in
it
the arcane.
for this beautifully crafted world and the exploration, the combat, the goofiness with it, the pawn system, which doesn't necessarily replace multiplayer, but I do respect it and why Itsuno sought it, because the more I have grown, the harder it truly is to find the time to play with friends. And it's frustrating. I get it. We have ourselves another golden beetle here along this pathway. And you can't always find the time to play for friends, but you can hire their pawns and see what goofy creation they've made, or maybe they've based it off someone they know, a friend, their spouse. There's some uniqueness to it. Some people opt to have a theme for their pawns. Others opt for the most optimal skill sets. And then when you get into fashion, oh my goodness. But look at this poor frickin' Cyclops. Remember when they gave us trouble? Now you just send a couple meteors their way and it's game over. Oh my goodness.
I knew that I could count upon your strength, Arisen.
But there are just so many things about this game that I just haven't found anything that truly replicates it. And trust me, I am definitely searching. But there are some that give me different forms of enjoyment. And trust me, I enjoy a lot of other video game series, but
Instead, strive to better ourselves with every battle.
there's just nothing that quite nails the sense of adventure I get from this game. And you know, that's somewhat of a lie. The only other game I can think of that kind of came close to this for me was Lord of the Rings Online. And I have seen a few people say that this very much feels like Lord of the Rings in not the sense of the story, of course, but just the sense of adventure and the wonder of the world. Like, this, to them, is the closest thing we've gotten to an actual Lord of the Rings RPG. And the more I play it, the more I think, okay, yeah, we do have the elves. We have
We are not
some
alone.
sort of
Monsters
magic.
lurk nearby.
We have quite a long journey in a beautiful world that's being corrupted by something. You know what? I get it. And it's a sense of wonder that I just feel isn't always necessarily captured, even if there are a multitude of weak points about the game.
Just yonder looks to be a
Like I said,
harvesting ingredients.
way early on, it's not a flawless game.
Found while we're here.
And while I initially said it's a 7.5, I can definitely see it being an 8. And unfortunately, it is still hampered by poor performance in areas, and it's hampered by how quickly the game is over if you focus on the main quest and don't do any exploration. And I'm sorry I'm running in circles, but I swear there's a freaking Seeker's token around here. I must be going insane. But it just got a lot of undeserved hate for, well, if I'm going to be blunt, I feel like part of it is because, yes, the game was pushed out the door by the C-suite. Yes, the game was hampered by COVID. And yes, it did come out in 2024 instead of Monster Hunter Wilds, which would have been the 20th anniversary for Monster Hunter. And that alone, right there, it feels like so many people became incredibly spiteful. I interrupt this rant to tell you I have found the Seeker's token and I am not insane. But continuing onward, I feel
This is generally
there
used
was
as a material.
very much a lot of vitriol
I'm sure
and
we'll find a
spite
purpose for it in due time.
because it was not Monster Hunter for its 20th anniversary. And I find that kind of sad that the game got lambasted for having port crystals. Not even port crystals, you can only buy one. Having a port crystal in the microtransaction shop. And I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it at all. That shouldn't have been something that they did. But they did it anyway. And someone made an article on it and ran away with it that you were required to buy it with real money because the devs didn't want to add fast travel into the game, even though we have ox carts and port crystals that you can get in the actual game. It's so freaking disingenuous, and there are still people that repeat this point. There are legitimate flaws to this game, and that is not one of them. But then people started blasting on microtransactions as a whole for Dragon's Dogma. And my first thought went, wait a minute. We have a Seeker's token here. And my first thought went to, wait a minute. So Capcom, the game company that is notorious for selling microtransactions. If you look at how many are in Monster Hunter World, if you look how many are in Monster Hunter Rise, Monster Hunter Wilds, the original release of Dragon's Dogma, the Dead Rising games, we're going to go to bat and just absolutely assault this game for having microtransactions when it's in Capcom's history. It's so silly and baffling to me, honestly. And it's unfortunately a stigma that's sticking around. And you have legitimate issues that should be the focus. The performance of this game. I have a pretty decent computer right now. I'm not going to say it's the best, but it's decent. And I still have areas. I'm recording in 1920 by 1080p, where the frame rate will drop to sub 50, and it doesn't make sense. This will mostly be, in Vermund. This will be at the border checkpoint. This will be in Bak Batal. You may not see it in the recording, but the frame rate drops. And that still hasn't been addressed completely. Yes, they had a performance patch that made things a little better, but my goodness, it's still so frustrating to feel like the game was abandoned and that they said, oh yeah, this is fine. We're getting over 30 frames per second in town. This is fine. I can't play this game on my native ultra-wide resolution because the frame rate absolutely tanks, and I hate it. I truly do. But you also have the issue of the main story. I know I've ranted on about this before, but as soon as I do this first section of Brant's quest, he's going to give me like 2 or 3 more. And then after that, I will be in Bak Batal. And then pretty much after getting directly to Bak Batal, if you do 2 more quests, you're starting the end sequence of the frickin' game, man. Like, it's punishing to the players that just want to try and do the main story. We have another Seeker's token here on the side of the river. It's punishing to the players that want to do the main story. Because if you do the main story and you don't explore, then you miss out on so much of the game, and it feels like such a friggin' disappointment. And then you have things like the dragon. People complain about the dragon not being Grigori. So this is where I have to say, I like the dragon in this game. Not nearly as much as Grigori, do not get me wrong,
You're welcome to take
but I
whatever you
like
from my
the dragon in this game.
I'd gladly see
And
what I find to good
it's because for me, it's a very different approach. Where Grigori had free reign to explore the world, not necessarily, but free reign to contact the Arisen and say, hey, you gonna come fight me or not? And people equate that to him as being a phenomenal character. I actually think he's
A cave. Shall we proceed into the depths?
a bit more interesting in his interactions, I'll say that. But this dragon, your interactions with it essentially boil down to spoilers. At the beginning of the coronation, when you sit down, that's the dragon speaking to you. You hear from him again when you go back to Melv. Why do I say him? You hear back from it again when you go to Melv, and then you do not see it again until you get to the end of the game. Now, there's actually a reason for that, and I feel like it's overlooked. Everyone wants the dragon to just constantly have a presence. But
Now,
gotta stop my rant for a Seeker's token. Grab it right here.
that is a surprise.
But this dragon is very much a victim of the cycle itself. It is very much implied that it is the dragon that
We can
every
infer much of the lay of the land
Arisen
from here.
has fought.
We are alone here, methinks.
When you
Perhaps
think
might
about
stop
that,
a moment and
that
find
this
our
dragon,
words.
because of the way the cycle goes in this game, has been essentially remade and killed and remade and killed, and its only purpose is to choose an Arisen and to be slain by them, or to choose an Arisen and for them to not succeed. For an eternity, it is stuck in this cycle, and it essentially ends up being a victim of it. It has no free will of its own. It knows its purpose. It knows what it is destined for. And it's sombering in a way. And there's a lot of exposition that this dragon specifically gives to you during its fight. But there's also that factor of people wanting it to be the spectacle Grigori was. And Grigori had time to talk to you because you couldn't necessarily fight Grigori in a section of it. This dragon, people just dive right in, smack him a bit, and defeat him. Gosh, I keep saying him. Defeat it. And they feel disappointed because they wanted the dragon of Dragon's Dogma to be a challenge. And they don't let the dragon speak. When you do, it reveals so much more about the world and how it itself feels. And that, to me, is enough to make it a better character than Grigori, even if it is presented poorly.
I've just recalled. I found a
If
treasure
that
near here.
rant
During my
and
travels beyond
statement
the
makes any sense.
May I show you to its location?
I enjoy Grigori more, but I think that the dragon of this game is a better character. And that is solely because of how it was approached. Now, Grigori and David Lodge's wonderful voice, top tier. Just does not compare to what is presented here. There's a golden beetle right here. We'll nab one more, I think. One or two more Seeker's tokens.
For a rigorous
I
search.
could be wrong. Maybe, I don't know. But just, you go from someone that I guess I will have to go into spoilers for this. So you go in from the implication that the dragon in the original game is someone that is too weak-willed to actually harbor the will of the world. They cannot bear that burden, and thus are turned into dragons because their will is too weak.
Let me get that.
Or they are defeated in a certain circumstance. Then
We were very thorough.
they go out and seek another arisen, and they find someone with a powerful will to see if they can surpass them. If not, that arisen too becomes a dragon. And it feels like they're given a bit more volition because of the way the world is set up in that game. Whereas this dragon... Did I just lose my main pawn? I did. As I rant. Whereas this dragon is a victim of the cycle in a different way. It's not that it's an arisen that didn't have a great will. Okay, grab this Seeker's token really quick as I rant. It'll be right here at the bottom of the cliff face.
Now here's a surprise.
It's an entity that is created with a purpose, knows its purpose, has tried to defy its purpose, and has been punished in the past for that. It cannot escape its fate. It has no choice. It has no free will. And I think when you truly look at Dragon's Dogma 2, and Dragon's Dogma as a whole, the discourse of free will and destiny is something that's haunted mankind for a long time. And it continues with these games. You can interpret it how you will, but it feels as if Dragon's Dogma 1 focuses more on giving the player the freedom to do what they desire. And Dragon's Dogma 2, overall, with its story, how it is presented, the quest structure, feels as if it is all determined. And everything you do isn't necessarily by your own choice. And at least for me, that opens the door for some very, very interesting discourse. But you'd have to let me know how you feel about that. Don't mind my crazy rambling about this, but it's something that, again, I enjoy the game series. I enjoy how it makes me think, and I want to share my passion about it with other people. I'm here to entertain, but I'm also here to try and present questions in a way, I suppose. And all I can do is hope that I'm accomplishing either. Truthfully, I feel that the game deserves a little more love than it got. I feel that
we have no means of exploiting our enemy's weakness.
it is a wonderful piece of media. Outside of, just turning your brain off, exploring, enjoying the combat. Alright, we have ourselves another golden beetle here. And It's just a sad state of things that it was received the way it was, and it feels like the people who pushed it out have abandoned it.
One might confidently call that a resounding victory.
We mustn't allow ourselves to become complacent. Take each trial as it comes.
Sounds like there is an ogre nearby. Well, after that sombering thought, let's take it out on him. This son of a gun staggering me. Oh, let's just grab a Seeker's token in the middle of combat, shall we? That will be right here. Alright, looks like I have amply confused it. So, let's do what I was trying to do in the first place.
Tremendous work!
Let us aim for greater precision with our next attempt.
But, that aside, I still do think that through it all, and the dedicated fan base, that I am very, very grateful we got the chance to see a second game, even though the West never got Dragon's Dogma Online. And I am very grateful for what it has offered, truthfully. Anyway, let's see about giving myself a little bit of light here.
A good meal makes one appreciate those to share with.
I realized I had actually missed a Seeker's token. I want to add an interjection to my video here of grabbing this one, because I would not forgive myself for missing this one whatsoever. So, let's just nab it really quick, and through the power of editing, this will be before the quote-unquote final one. And that will be located here on top of the ruins.
Now here's a surprise.
Let's see if we can't get our pawn back real quick.
At present, my humblest thanks for restoring me, Arisen.
I'm glad to have you back by our side.
Anyway, if I remember correctly, there is a Seeker's token over here. Yep, there it is. Oh, I goofed up. Let me just, try that again.
Saved. Thank you, Arisen.
Oh my goodness. It's the little moments like that that make it for me. Anyway, we will grab that Seeker's token, and I do believe that will be a very good point to call it.
These have quite a long range.
I
This could grant us an edge in battle.
have to apologize a little for that ranting, so forgive me. Anyway, final Seeker's token I will grab for now is right here.
I'd wager there's ought to be found here.
We ought to take a closer look.
And back over I go. Or not. Oh my gosh. I'm keeping that. That is something. So let's grab that again.
A fine place to harvest some ingredients.
Shall we see if there's ought to be found while we're here?
Okay. All of that aside, I thank you all for listening to that very, very long rant, and we shall call it there for now.
When better
So,
to use this, but in the midst of
goodbye
battle.
for now, and I'll see you all later.